As the Lucid Motors and Churchill Capital Corp IV merger date comes close, we would like to discuss the structure of the CCIV and how things are run over there. Some of Lucid Motors' decisions in the future will be largely influenced by CCIV, so it is better to know about the investment company in a little detail. What is the ownership structure like for Churchill Capital Corp IV? And who gets to call the shots? Welcome back to NewVehicleMedia, the channel that has everything on EV stocks. Subscribing is free, and when you like this video, YouTube will be able to recommend similar videos to you. Comments are highly appreciated as we will feature the best ones in our upcoming videos. In today's video, we dive into the organizational and ownership structure of CCIV. We will go over the details of these structures and how the Lucid deal will bring changes. As always, this video also has timestamps in the description that can be used to navigate through the video at your own pace. Overview of CCIV and structure. Churchill Capital Corp IV was launched in 2020 by Michael Klein & Company in the year 2020 as a blank checks investment company. This SPAC, Special Purpose Acquisition Company, specializes in reorganization services, mergers, asset acquisitions, capital stock exchange, and stock purchase. It is listed under the ticker symbol CCIV at the New York Stock Exchange. This is the fourth corporation funded by Michael Klein & Company. The previous ones were Churchill Capital Corp I, II, and III. On September 18, 2020, the organization opened at $10.25 for one share. CCIV is a relatively large firm with a market capitalization of $7 billion US. For a company this size, it would be expected that there would be a lot of institutional investors on board. However, such large-sized companies are also very fortunate for retail investors. The share registry of CCIV shows that the institutional ownership is quite substantial in the company. To be exact, 20% of the company is owned by individual insiders, 35.4% of it is owned by the general public, and 44.6% of it is owned by institutions. In terms of the number of stocks, 51,750,000 shares are held by the individual insiders, and 91,675,899 shares are held by the general public. Lastly, 115,324,101 shares are held by the institutions. Detail of structure. The significant amount of institutional ownership of CCIV stocks shows a very positive image for the company. Most institutions only invest enthusiastically in a company when it is seen that it gets registered on a major stock exchange index. It is also done when a company shows growth or high growth prospects for the future. As institutional investors have held a significant amount of shares in the company, it shows that they have studied the stock and have found it likable. Analysts that are working for such institutions are seasoned professionals that have spent all their lives studying stocks and finding the best ones to invest in. Having such an amount of institutional ownership implies that there is a lot of strategic importance of CCIV stocks. However, this may not always be the case, and these analysts may be wrong to some extent. A crowded trade is a phenomenon where many institutions own a stock. Whenever a trade ends up going in the wrong direction, many institutions try to sell the stocks at once. This puts the company in a very messed up situation. This is mostly true for companies that do not have a strong history of growth. Another particular thing about CCIV is that it is not mostly owned by hedge funds like most other companies on the stock exchange. Its largest portion of shares is owned by Michael Klein, the CEO. His shares account for almost 20% of the shares outstanding. This is a very huge chunk, as the second largest portion of shares owned by a shareholder is just 2.9% of shares outstanding, and the third one is 2.7%. No single shareholder has a majority stake in the company, as the top 25 shareholders own less than half of the company's register. Insider and general public ownership analysis. The board of directors of a company is always considered as its insiders, but this definition gets changed in each country. Top-level management is often at times on the board, and hence insiders. The company management is answerable to the board, and it is always best if the interests of the board are aligned to those of the shareholders. This is why insider ownership is considered to be a good thing for a company, as the board feels responsible for the success of the company. On the other hand, it may get difficult at times to make the board accountable to the shareholders for the decisions that have adverse effects. The data shows that the insider ownership of CCIV is quite substantial. It consists of $1.4 billion in shares out of the $7 billion of shares the company comprises. Many institutions and members of the general public see this as something very positive, that the board is also interested in investing alongside them. The general public ownership of CCIV consists of 35%. This gives the public little authority over the decisions made by the company. However, this is not as much as it should have been if the general public ever wanted to change any policy decision in their favor. Even still, it cannot be denied that the impact of such a proportion of the general public on the company policies is negligible. The general public will find a lot of comfort in the fact that there is a substantial investment of the board in the company, so they will never make any decision that leads to unprofitable outcomes in the future. Lucid deal and impact. A merger between Lucid Motors and CCIV is expected to be closed on the 23rd of July, right after the shareholder voting is completed. It will be done after a shareholders meeting on 22nd of July. Most of the shareholders of Lucid Motors have already decided that to vote in favor of merger, but then this will be done again formally. The equity value of the merger will be $11.75 billion US, and Lucid Motors will receive a sum of $4.6 billion US. Lucid Motors will get a sum of $4.4 billion US from the deal to invest in its ongoing operation goals. Prospects such as the development of Project Gravity are also done with the help of this capital. Stakeholders at CCIV will be pleased to know that the company is merging with Lucid Motors, as the future is very optimistic for Lucid Motors. It may not be able to provide huge returns instantly, as it is a very critical stage, but the long-term benefits will be quite substantial. CCIV is a relatively new blank check special purpose acquisitions company that came into being in 2020. This was the fourth company being run by Michael Klein and Company. The ownership structure of CIV is quite impressive and has optimistic prospects. 20% is owned by individual insiders, 35.4% by the general public, and 44.6% by institutions. Having such a large contribution by institutions shows that there is actual growth potential in the company. This is because investment institutions carefully study companies in detail before investing in them. They have analysts that have the sole duty of working out which stock will be profitable in the future and which will not be profitable. A 20% insider stake in the company shows that the board of directors and top-level management are also invested in the company. This indicated that the board of directors and top-level management will also be part of the company's losses and gains. They will also be encouraged to make such decisions that are highly in favor of the company, and hence resulting in the gains of each stockholder. A 35.5% stake in the general public means that the public will be able to influence the decision of a company to an extent, but not so much that the policies can be changed or overruled. Lucid Motors will soon be merging with CCIV, and stockholders of both companies should be considering this as good news. Lucid will not be held by monetary constraints in its initial production stages, while CCIV will get immense long-term results. Joshua aims to go to paradise and become a millionaire with his shares in CCIV. Do you think that's possible with this structure? Do you think it's possible to become a millionaire with CCIV shares? Let us know in your comments. Also, here's a quick reminder that subscribing is free, and liking helps to boost the algorithm. With that said, many thanks for watching this video till the end. Hope to see you again tomorrow.